Hello students, welcome to the biology class. So in the last class we learned about, we started the new chapter, chapter number 4, the reproductive health, and we learned about the WHO, World Health Organization, which has its center in Geneva in Switzerland, and we learned the definition which is given by WHO. Then we learned that its significance and the problems that reproductive health programs face in our country. And then we learn what strategies government has had so far planned as well as executed. We learned about the family planning and the modified program which is called as RCH program. Then we learned about the role of NGOs, the non-governmental organizations, and the various types of audiovisual aids, print media, electronic media. We learned about sex education is required, and then many more things regarding this. Then I gave you some graphics regarding, or some of the digits regarding the population growth. So we made a comparison between the world population growth and the Indian population growth, and that's why I told you family planning started in our country. Our country was the first one to start, not because it could not be done by the developed country. Reason was the population growth in India was like an explosion. Then we learned that what are the reasons behind high population growth. So we learned about the rapid declining the health death rate, and the reason behind that is the type of facilities available in the medical places such as the hospitals and all, clinics and all. And then we learned even about why there is a slower decline in the birth rate and the various other reasons which are behind the high population growth. Then we learned about the consequences of the overpopulation. After this I just gave you a small introduction regarding contraceptives and the ideal contraceptives. So let's carry on from here. So as I told you in the last class, contraceptives are those which are always contradictive to the contraception. That means they always work against the conception. Conception means successful fertilization or implantation. Such things are meant as conception. So an ideal contraceptive should be user friendly, should have no side effects, should be reversible. That means whenever a user wants to have a child, then it can be reversed, and then it should not interfere with the act of the intercourse. Another thing possible is it should be easily available in the market and cheap. Now there are various methods. The first method we are going to learn today is called as the natural or the traditional methods of contraception. Now those methods which have been passed on as such for generations, from the time since long time they have been used by the rural area or by the time when the India had no scientific knowledge and all. So those devices, those methods in which there are no devices used and no medicines are used, and they are purely based on the knowledge of the reproductive system. So remember, in these methods only the knowledge of the reproductive system is used, and that's why they are called as traditional or natural type of contraceptive methods. So the first method is the safe period. Now what exactly is the safe period? We all know that we have already learned in the 3rd chapter regarding the menstrual cycle. So you have learned that every month in the middle of the lunar month, somewhere around 14th to 15th day, 13th, 14th, 15th day, ovulation would be expected. So during ovulation, what exactly happens is there is a sudden drop in the average body temperature of the female, and once ovulation is done, then there is a rise by 1 degree Fahrenheit throughout the rest of the time of the cycle. So first method for a couple to understand whether the ovulation period is close by is that there will be a sudden drop in the temperature, followed by, after ovulation, a continuous increase of somewhere around 1 degree Fahrenheit throughout the cycle, throughout the left of the time of the cycle. So that time duration is the fertile period, because we all know through the medical science now that once ovulation has taken place, up to 2 days, or you can say 48 hours, the period remains fertile, because that is the time duration during which fertilization is maximum possible. So if that time duration sex is avoided, it is called as the safest period. Or otherwise, the another method is Spin Birkett method. This was a German method. In this method, what exactly is done is finger is inserted into the vagina, and the cervical mucus. If you remember the topic I have discussed already in few of the classes back, that vagina does not carry any glands of it, but the cervical mucus can easily come down into the vagina. So the cervical mucus, if collected from the vagina, starts becoming slippery, and if two fingers are taken, or thumb and the index finger, and after taking that mucus, if it is done like this, and if a string is formed, a long thread-like structure is formed, that means the mucus is thick enough, and that is the time when ovulation is expected. So please remember, mucus becomes more thick and slippery and can easily be drawn into string between two fingers, and that is a test again which help a person understand that ovulation is expected or it is a fertile period. So sex should be avoided in this situation. And but nowadays iSure is available in market, so things have changed a lot in the medical stream, or in the medical situations in our country has improved a lot. Now iSure is available that help a lady to understand what are those 3 days when she can expect ovulation. The best method of the natural, the best method of the safe period or the periodic abstinence nowadays.